Good morning, this is Nicole, and today I'm going to be talking about putting myself first. So, God has shown me how to put myself first. I have not done that in quite some time. I have 4 kids, a husband, and I am somewhere in the middle or last half the time. But I've been listening to God telling me how to put myself first and how to pay attention to what He said, what God says, and who to be. I've surrendered my life to God. I've surrendered my schedule to God. I've surrendered all kind of things, my health, whatever. Although I might have to do my health again, like completely. And as a result, lately some things have been happening. So I wanted to give you guys an update. One of the things that's going on is that I have been hearing that I need to put myself and my family first when it comes to my schedule. Which means that I have to learn to say, no, I'm not going to do that. Or yes, I will do that based on what I know is best for me. I've had a number of things happen, but last week I'm going to mention 2 different events. One was I was at an organization, I was at an event, and the event didn't go so well. There was a bunch of problems with it, and I noticed that there were some flaws and some errors, so I jumped in and tried to help and make sure it kind of went a little smoother. Well, I would talk to the person that was running it, who was not the person in charge of the entire organization, but just someone who was running that day's event. I talked to them and I said, okay, well, tomorrow I'll send an email to the people in charge and let them know that how everything went, and let them know some solutions of how everything can go better. I talked to her and I said, maybe I can even. I was thinking about coming back the next day for their next event to try to help them with it. And I even had a doctor's appointment for my son, and I thought, well, maybe I could cancel that appointment. I didn't tell her this, but I thought maybe I can cancel his appointment, even though I had waited for that appointment and rescheduled it a number of times. And then at the end, I said, no, I'm not going to do that. So the next morning, I wrote an email to the people who run the organization and told them everything that happened. They weren't very concerned. They said, oh, well, it should be fine. Everything's going to be okay. Things are supposed to have problems with it, and that basically they were okay with the flaws and that things would work themselves out, and that they would take a few of my suggestions and, move on. I decided to let it go. Part of me wanted to still be like, oh, I can still help. I can do this. And I was like, no. My son's appointment was important. It was about how can he communicate with his electronic device and learn how to speak. And so I went to that appointment, and that appointment went so well. I was so happy because I went, because they helped me to simplify some of the technology that I hadn't realized I needed to be simplified. Had I listened to myself, I would have ran off trying to help these people and help them with their organization. And quite frankly, they might not even need my help, and everything might work itself out. And I don't even need to be there. But by me putting myself first, I realized that I needed to be the appointment for my child, and we were more important. And if I had done it the other way around, I would have been angry at them. And really, I should have been angry at me for putting myself last in that situation. One more thing happened this week outside of a bunch of things that God has tested me with. But another thing happened where I was supposed to, I'm trying to remember what it was now. I can't even remember what it was. But there's been a number of events that have happened, and each time I'm learning that I have to, I know what it was. I run an organization for a place where I volunteer. And so we were going to have an event on a certain day of the week, but I couldn't come. And I told them, well, you guys can just run it and I won't be there. And they were like, no, you have to be there. And I'm like, no, I don't. It's okay. You guys can run it. I have, somebody that's second in charge and, third and fourth in charge. And, you guys can run it. You're pretty good. They know what they're doing with everything. So they were like, no, you have to be there. And I really did want to be there. I really did. But in the planning stages, I'm like, well, I just can't be there. And so initially I thought for a second about canceling my event that I have to go to, but it will be a seminar for my husband and myself that will help to propel us into the next dimension of where we need to be. And in the end, what happened is we ended up rescheduling it for an even better day that was even better, so that it will be able to encompass more people and, kind of like just encapsulate the whole event, the theme of the event. It'll be even better. Well, had I changed my schedule, my day, my husband and I would have missed an event that's going to help us to be better for our family and for generations after us, which is what, our plan is, to be able to acquire wealth, success, love, kindness for an entire family, for our generations to be better. And ultimately, I didn't have to change my schedule for them. And me not changing my schedule actually made the event better. So I just want to say that, hold on. What is it? You can have 2. Each of you can have 2. That's it. You can have 2. That's it. Don't have just 2 each. Well, you guys know my mom, so I'm always gonna be dealing with my children while I'm talking to you. So anyway, so the moral of the story is that when it comes to having to be yourself and take care of yourself and put yourself first, there are going to be a lot of tests and a lot of challenges that God is going to show you and say, listen, are you ready for this? Are you ready to move to the next step? In the past, I failed the test. I did fail the test in the past, but I have slowly and incrementally moved up to a better position. So like, let's say years ago, I was at a 2, because I definitely put myself years ago. I'm probably at like a 6 or 5 or a 6 right now. And eventually, I'm going to be on fries. Saying that that's a Coming to America joke. But a big piece. So, I'm sorry. Anyway, so one of the things, so now that I'm at like a 5 or a 6, I'm moving myself up to an 8, 9, and then eventually a 10 with putting myself first. One which is actually being out here at the park, taking a walk. I'm walking today, which I don't normally do, but this is like my 2nd or 3rd time being out walking somewhere in the last 2 to 3 weeks since I surrendered my life to God. Which that means I'm being obedient and listening. So I just want somebody to be able to listen and hear that when God is telling you what to do, there are going to be some tests along the way. There are going to be some, you got to wait, I'm doing a video. Yes, you can have 2 of those, yes. When, okay, you can each have 2 if you want them. I lost my train of thought. So if you want to listen to God's inklings, and if you want the life that God has for you, whatever that is, which everybody's life is going to be different, then listen to what God is telling you. Pay attention to what he's saying. Pay attention to what direction he's directing you in. Don't listen to yourself, and listen to God and meditate and hear what he's saying. But you have to pray, listen, and then do. That's part of the first steps. You got to pray, you got to listen, and then you got to do whatever he says to do. So hopefully this helps somebody today. On my way, I'm learning to put myself first and not put other people first ahead of myself and my family. And it's working out. So hopefully this helps somebody on their journey, and live your legacy. Bye.